Hello YouTube, my name's Sean Connors and welcome back to The Outsiders. And as you saw from the introduction, of course, tonight's special guest, well, not live, but, going to be answering the difficult questions of course Dawnforge Cast. But before we come on to him, for those that didn't catch the first programme, our first guest on was Dungeon Master Johnny, who kindly did his first video this week. It's obvious there are going to be more parts. It's part one of probably 2 or 3, I think. I look forward to seeing that Dungeon Master Johnny. So far, enthralling. Now, on to tonight's guest. How do I introduce Dawnforge Cast and do justice to him? I think in such a short period of time, he's really driven the standards of the community. He's really put out there some top-notch stuff. And he's obviously constantly challenging and striving to be the very best he can. Something I can really associate with that. And he really has, in many ways, helped me, I think, personally, because he's really given me a bit of a kick up the arse occasionally and sort of said, without saying anything to me, come on, you can do this. And it's forced me to have to go out there and think, how am I going to edit my programs? How am I going to do intros? How am I going to do the things I've really wanted to do? It really has pushed me to do that. And I now have reached a point where I'm happy with what I'm producing in terms of videos and the quality of those videos. And that's the most important thing. And he's done that. And he really has become a very important part. I think his main focus is obviously probably mostly on Pathfinder. But I'm going to find out more about his focus because I think it's changing, and I'm really interested to see what his thoughts are around so many different subjects. So without further ado, and I'll come back at the end of this programme, tonight's special guest, Dawnforge Cast. These are your difficult questions. Not all of them, but most of them. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you at the end. So my first question to you, Dawnforge Cast, the same way that I started off with Mr. Dungeon Master Johnny, of course, is your gaming history. I'd like you to take us through your earliest recollections of role-playing, where it starts for you, and take us up to modern day. And also, in your particular case, give us some hints of the future. Dawnforge Cast, in reality, you're fairly new, game timeline speaking, and have admittedly on occasion broken the understanding of some of the core mechanics which have survived through the ages. Why should fellow players or DMs take up your advice? One of the most heated things that came out in the last few weeks was this particular question, and I think it's worth recovering it and going over it again. What is more powerful, 3d6 straight down, i.e. let them land where they will, or point by? Now you've had time to consider the question in more detail over the last few weeks and have begun to consider old school gaming. What are your thoughts now? Pathfinder is actually getting old in my view. It's 12 years old really. It's modelled off the 3rd era engine, with tweaks of course. My point to you is this. How long will you stick at playing with Pathfinder? Is this an indefinite thing? Is this the system for you forever? What would change that? I'd love to know your thoughts. In your view, what is the best character for Pathfinder and why? Do you set any limits at your table, no matter what they might be? Characters, class, race, spells. Is there any limits or is everything open? The golden chance. Are melee attacks a series of attempts with only one roll reflecting that golden chance? If so, then how do you accept range attacks being one roll for one missile? What's your biggest YouTube mistake in your mind? I know we've all made some. What's yours? I'm sure you're aware that Pathfinder obviously are in works with Goblin Works to build an MMO, which will release in a few years' time. They've also asked their audience for another set of money, this time $1 million, to make it happen. I have concerns about this and how it might affect the RPG community at large, particularly those fans of Pathfinder, when they see how diluted this is going to be compared to their game. What are your thoughts around this? Final question. Do you think there are others with more experience, a better style and a firmer understanding of the rules to help new players and old? And if so, who are they? What that leads me to do is to thank Dawnforge Cast in advance of his video responses. I think he can tell from the beginning of this video and for the conversations we've had from time to time how much we all respect him. We appreciate the things that he stands for and we massively look forward to him answering these difficult questions. Now, who would you like to see on next on difficult questions? Now, many people have put their names forward with the Prelude video. Out of those that put their names forward, why don't you email in who you would like next? Let's leave that as a surprise till this time next week when I ask the difficult questions. Anyway, I've been Sean Connors. This has been the Outsiders programme. Till the next time, take care of yourselves and happy gaming. Bye.